So, it's me, James. I'm back and still dealing with my eternal existential crisis that I was talking about last week, which is just so fascinating. We're about to talk about it again. So, deciding last week that I needed something to do with my spare time, I decided just playing video games and working out, and that's pretty much it. I put in some applications and got a couple job interviews last week. I put an application and got interviews with Fry's, GameStop, CVS and Walgreens, and Spirit Halloween. And then they also put one in at the local haunted house here called 13th Floor to just have something to do on the side, right? So the first one that called me back was Fry's. Now, I'd worked at Fry's for about 8 years before my current job in the pharmacy. So I was basically like going back to my old job. And I already had like a weird feeling when I put the application in. But I was like, you know what? I didn't work in the pharmacy before. I'll get into it. Surely, I mean, it's probably the same thing. No big deal. So I got the application in. A lady called me up and she says, hey, you know, want to come in for an interview on Thursday at 3:30. I'm like, yeah, sure, I could do that. And she said, okay, bring a copy of your pharmacy tech license and everything. So I get everything printed out, like all the legal paperwork I need to work in pharmacy. And I showed up to the Fry's, and she's, you know, they tell you, like, go check on customer service. They'll page me and I'll come meet you wherever. So I walk in, I talk to the guy at the desk. I'm like, hey, I need an interview with this lady, whatever her name was. And he goes, oh, well, I'll page her, no problem. And he's like, you know, just go wait for her at the Starbucks in the store. So I'm like, all right, fine. So here in page her, I walk over to the Starbucks. I'm standing around. Now, mind you, this is a grocery store, and I don't need to buy groceries. So I really don't need to be here right now. And I stand around waiting. It's been I give it about 5 minutes, and I'm like looking around like, I don't know what this lady looks like, and I don't see anybody coming that's obviously coming to speak to me. So I go back over to the desk. I'm like, hey, you want to page her again? Because, you know, I'm not going to sit around waiting here all day for this. This is something to do on the side. This is not a real job for me. He's like, yeah, sure, no problem. So he pages her again. Still nothing. I wait another 5 minutes. I try calling her because she called me on some phone number. Try calling her back. It just goes straight to voicemail. And then so I'm standing there another 5 minutes or so. Still no one's come down. I try calling her one last time, and I'm like, you know what? It's been 15 minutes. They're clearly not interested. Like, this is kind of just reinforcing the negative thoughts I had about working there in the first place, because it's like, oh, I didn't particularly like this when I left 9 years ago. This obviously still sucks. They clearly are just not going to respect my time now like they didn't then. So I leave. I'm like, whatever. I wasted 15 minutes in the store for, you know, a side gig. No big deal. So about 45 minutes later, that lady called me back, and she says, where did you go? And I'm like, I showed up at 3:30, like you said. I went to the guy at the desk twice. I tried calling you, and I got nothing. And she's like, well, yeah, I got busy. And I'm thinking, I'm like, yeah, but the thing is, I was busy. Right? I don't care enough to wait around for 15 minutes. Like, clearly you didn't respect my time to talk to me and when you told me to be there. And why, you think we're going to sit there for an hour for this? And then she had the nerve to tell me that I needed to be more patient with the interview process. I'm like, lady, I have worked there for 8 years. I'm well aware of how this place will treat people's time if you let them walk all over you. So I'm good, thanks. So then she hangs up on me, and then a little bit later, I get a text that says, from their general recruitment thing, says, you're not what we're looking for in an associate. I'm like, and this is after I already told her I wasn't interested. So I was like, well, still not a match, even after 17 years. So, and I just went off. Basically, I wasted 15 minutes, and I had a 30-second phone call with a lady. And also, fuck that store. So after that, I'd put an application and got an interview with the guy down at GameStop down the road. And that guy, I put him just to be a sales associate, but just a cashier, right? Now, I'm well aware that, yes, I am too old to be working at a GameStop. But I figured it's like something to do. They close at like 8, so I'm not going to be out too late when I have to work at 6 in the morning. And the guy says, oh, you know, you'd be good as a assistant manager key holder. And I said, I don't know what that means. And also, that's not what I applied for. I do not want to be a manager. I hate having to tell people what to do. But also, if it's GameStop, how hard could it be? And he's like, yeah, well, we need you full-time, blah, blah. And, you know, you'd have the key holder, you'd be assistant manager key holder. I'm like, what the fuck does a key holder even mean? He's like, that's just like if the manager or the other assistant manager are sick, you could open the store for them. I'm like, dude, this is a part-time job I'm applying for here. I'm not doing that. And he was just trying to insist. He's like, well, like you're more mature. And I'm like, dude, I'm not. I may be 40, but I am not a mature individual. So, but I figured like GameStop would be easy, just something, turn your brain off, minimum wage for like a couple hours a week. No big deal. Maybe talk about some bullshit with some video games with some like, people younger than me who could tell me about new stuff because, I am out of touch. But then his insistence that I would have to be a manager was just quickly met with, no thanks, dude. So weirdly, GameStop was clearly not the place for me. So, and then I applied at our CVS and Walgreens, and weirdly, I did get on. CVS called me up. I talked to the manager maybe 5 minutes tops, and I got an interview. They offered me a job, but that is working in the pharmacy, so that is real serious work, real pharmacy work anyway. And so I'm currently going through the background process with that, just to have a side job. Because I told the guy, he's like, what are you looking for? I'm like 10, 12, 15 hours, something like that. He's like, that's perfect. We don't get a lot of people because everybody wants full time and more money. And it's like, yeah, I just want something to do for a couple nights a week, man. He's like, that's perfect. So currently going through it at CVS to be applied there. Walgreens, I put an application in, and I had their pharmacy called me, and I haven't heard anything back yet. So I'm assuming that's probably a no. Now, the other place I put in an application was at Spirit Halloween, and I just wanted to work there because it's a Halloween shop, and Halloween is the best holiday of the year. And I figure, how hard could working at a costume shop be? And apparently, it's a very super serious job, because I interviewed with the guy that ran that across the highway, and he's what would you do if you worked here? And I'm like, whatever I'm told, dude, it's a fucking Halloween shop. How hard could it be? Check people out, pick shit up off the ground. I mean, I've worked in retail. I know how to do it. He's like, yeah, but you'd have to, know how to make recommendations and do all this shit. I'm like, dude, you're here for like 2 months a year. Like, how hard could it be? And plus, like, it's Halloween. Like, this sells itself. Like, you literally just need a cashier to run that place. That's it. And someone else will clean up the stuff that gets knocked on the floor. And then he tried to also sell me on being an assistant manager for full time for like $1 over minimum wage. So I was like, yeah, no. I'm like, what is... You wouldn't think just getting something to do in your free time for like 10 to 12 hours a week for like nothing, like for like just dog shit pay, just to like kill some time, would be hard. And this is like the most painfully difficult thing ever. So, but anyway, I got the job at CVS coming at least. And the last place I put in was at the Haunted House, the 13th floor here in Phoenix. This one doesn't even open until September. I put an application in to be a scare actor. It's basically in makeup and as part of the attraction. And for reference, I am 6'4" and I am 350 pounds. So I am quite large. And I've been able to sneak up on people. I've been doing this for years. And plus, again, Halloween rules. So I am waiting to hear back on that one. So in the meantime, it looks like I'll be working at CVS a couple days a week, apparently. So, so far, that's all I've got. I got some other ones of these coming next week and the week after. I actually have those planned out as well. I was debating on whether or not to do this twice a week. Probably not. I'm not sure I'm interested enough to justify having people listen to this twice a week yet. So, anyway, next week I'll be back, and I hope you guys have a decent week.